Barth's work on the Bhaktiman, came to stand for and exemplify secrecy and knowledge, but provided the discipline with one of its most critically demanding tests. Although analyses based on Euro-American conceptualizations of secrecy and knowledge were produced, they didn't stack up with the ethnography in Bolivip. In Bolivip, knowledge implicates people in a double life by affording and bringing together divergent gendered perspectives, not so much revealing to a viewer their position in the composition of a field of knowledge, as newly revealing the composition of the knower and the subtleties of their personal capacities and relational supports. This is not so much being in the world, figuring out of positions, as world in the being, a figuring of internal capacities. Revelations have the dual life effect of revealing that there is always more to things than one knows, and so it creates a relation that carefully positions a person in those new possibilities. Knowledge practices in Bolivip employ the imagery of relative positions on a tree. The muddled confusions of junior cultists is likened to the multiplicity of branches and leaves, whilst very senior cultists display their solidifying grasp of things in the way that ever-branching stories of juniors seem always to come down to the same thing. There is a double ontology in Bolivip. For juniors in the crown, the words from the seniors at the base appear to branch into multiple possibilities. Clearly, ontology is no one thing. As we've already heard, ontology can serve to describe as an all-encompassing worldview and to describe an all-encompassing anthropological method. That ontology foregrounds and highlights this isomorphism between the ethnographic object and anthropological method is, I think, its most important virtue. Of course, anthropologists are adept at discerning the wider cultural histories and metaphysical concerns at work in worldviews, and thus it is possible to discern contemporary Euro-American conceptual collapses of nature and culture, such that things seem to have micro-ontologies, so everything has a world and a worldview of its own, and to discern emergent Christian and process theologies, which refashion the position and the mathematics of the Godhead, so that God and his believers are part of and can pass through each other. Ontology provides a relational view of method, and reminds us that a critical test for ethnographic knowledge practices is the faithfulness with which they acknowledge that they are both enabled and constrained by the knowledge practices of our ethnographic subjects. For too long, the pretense of scrupulously separating data from theory had anthropology barking up the wrong tree, and afforded a privileged analytical position as if narrating from outside the ethnographic relation. I take it that looking for theory in the same place that we look for data provides a crucial disciplinary and decolonizing turn. Every ethnographic description is equally a description of the anthropology producing it then. Ontology is useful because it foregrounds our part in the relational and conceptual scheme and reminds us of three important lessons. Firstly, Roy Wagner's enduring insight about the invention of culture. That is, the efficacy and contingency of using our concepts, such as culture, or indeed ontology, to apprehend, to apportion, and to describe the concerns of our ethnographic subjects. Secondly would be Marilyn Strathern's insights into exchanges between knowledge practices. That is, in her words, to be a perspectivalist acts out Euro-American pluralism, ontologically grounded in one world and many worldviews. Perspectivism implies an ontology of many worlds and one capacity to take a viewpoint. And thirdly, as I understand Eduardo's comparison of anthropologies, it is neither multiple natures nor singular cultures that require analysis. It is but a description of the metaphysics, potentials and affordances that find manifestation and expression in different forms. Any methodological insistence on these three lessons carries political force for the reproduction and transformation of the discipline. It may even save us from being dazzled and taken in by the effects of our own creativity, and allow the creativity of our ethnographic subjects to further expand our understandings of being human. Another old point. Thank you.